We're going to have a brief look at image adjustments in Photoshop, and this really does need a bit of playing around and experimenting for you to get the desired effect. So let's have a look at some of the options. We've just got the simple water lilies image on our screen. If we go to Image and then Adjustments, there's a whole selection of things you can play around with. We're just going to look at three basic ones today. Have a look at brightness and contrast to start with. If you click that left mouse button, and then you've got this little window which can be moved anywhere. I suggest it to be out of the way, off the image, so you can see clearly what you're doing. You need to make sure the preview button has been checked, so left mouse click on that. Here the tick is present, so you know that you're going to make an adjustment here using the sliding scales, and you're going to be able to see immediately what you're doing on your desktop. So it's important to click the preview button whenever you're dropping down any of these windows. Okay, so let's have a look. Brightness and contrast, very straightforward. You can see the brightness changing as I slide down, and the contrast changing as I slide. Now it depends what sort of effect you might like. Often the images, you might take a photograph and they need to be a little bit clearer or a little bit brighter. That's the window that you would look at, brightness and contrast. If you were happy with that, you would click OK, and then your image would be, you could save your image in that format. Now it's important to actually record the numbers that are in these windows if you wanted to match the sorts of images in one piece of artwork, so that they're all looking about the same brightness and they've got the same contrast. So you would just record, in this case, brightness plus 39, contrast minus 27. Alright, for the sake of the exercise I'm just going to cancel it and we'll show you another one. So image, adjustments. Now let's go to the hue and saturation. Hue and saturation refers to particular colours and how saturated or how much of that colour is actually present on your photograph in this case. So you can just go to particular colours, or you can adjust the whole lot. So if you have a look at this here, we've got our preview button checked. If you go to the drop down menu here, there's all the colours that you can look at and edit individually. But just for the sake of this, we'll look at the master for now, and if you slide the hue, you can see that the colours can change significantly. In this case the flowers are a bluey purple colour, and in this case they're more of a red going on to even a whitey kind of yellow colour. So that affects it hugely. It's quite fun. You get a totally different look. Let's go to a purple. Now the saturation, if you have a look at how the saturation, if I slide that to the positive, it's becoming very bright. Slide to the negative, you're losing all your colour. Lightness is pretty straightforward. You can see subtly, and you might want to make subtle adjustments. Let's say you were happy with that. Again, you would record, in this case, hue saturation, and you would have to record the fact that you're on the master drop down menu, and then the numbers, minus 42, plus 6 and plus 5. Alright, so we'll just cancel that. Yeah, we'll cancel that, and what we'll do, we'll go into the same image, adjustments, hue and saturation, but we'll look at the colour green. There's a lot of green in this photo, so you could do something significantly to change the greens if you play around with these sliding menu buttons. So you can see that the green now has a blue very much visible. The blue is visible. Going the other way, you've got more of a brown visible. Okay, let's just go down here. Saturation, we adjust the saturation. So you can play around with that, and the greens change significantly, as you can see. Lightness and darkness again can make quite a difference. It can make something change from being very realistic to something that's very artificial looking. Okay, so you can have a play with that. and there's obviously magentas would be a good one to alter here because the flower is a purpley magenta colour. So if we play around with magenta, in this case the flower's changed from a purple to be green or white almost. So that's quite fun. Don't forget to have the preview button checked, otherwise you won't see any difference in your screen. Again, record the numbers and the details. That's the important thing. So that's hue and saturation. I'll just cancel out of that. We'll go back to image adjustments. Let's have a look at the levels. Levels is another one that's worth having a look at. The output levels, if I've got my preview checked, which I have, the output sliding button, if I slide there you can see that it's sort of a bit like the tone changing, but once you change these middle buttons, and you can change each one individually, you're going to start to get quite a different look. Okay, so again, like I was saying, it can look quite artificial. Let's cancel out of that. Let's do the same thing. Image, adjustments, levels. In this case we'll go to the top here and we might choose greens because there's a lot of green in the photo, and we'll play around with the greens as long as our preview button is checked, which it is. And again, you can alter the look of it. Play around with the colours. So there's just a brief introduction to the adjustments, image adjustments. Remember to record the numbers if you want to, particularly if you want to match images to the same sorts of colours. Now if you imagine this on a totally different image, like a person, you're going to get a totally different look, of course. So experiment, try a few different things and see what you can come up with. Thanks.